Bring it back.
Hi guys, what's going on? I'm Ep01 and today we are back with a new game, Empires of the Undergrowth. A bit of a slight different twist on the sort of normal games I play. This is almost like city building with ants, although colony building I guess. So it's a game that came out on Steam Early Access about a week or two ago. There was a demo released sort of about 6 months before that, and they've been working up to the Steam release going forwards, and it sort of recently came out. So I think the best thing about this will be just to hop into a game and I can sort of show you what it's all about. Basically you run an ant colony inside a lab in the Formicarium. So if we hop into here, I can hop into my sort of initial start on the game and we can see what it's all about. I mean, as you can imagine from the title and the pictures here as we load, it's about running an ant colony. It's basically you have to make decisions about how you spend your food, the way you grow your nest in terms of how you construct, and the upgrades that you choose. So we have our queen here in the middle, an enormous queen there, and all the larvae around her. So to the right and left I've got, I think these are the food, these are the food chambers I've built here and here. And then I've got my sort of nesting area over here where I've got my workers who grow. So if workers get killed, I'm at my population cap now at the moment, 16 or 16. But if one of the workers gets killed in combat or attacked by another creature, then fresh workers spawn here. One little tip I can give you early on, which I found out after doing this wrong, is how the upgrades work. I've not unlocked them yet, but everything wants to be in a hexagon. Because if I wanted to upgrade the middle tile to level 2, it has to be completely surrounded by other tiles for it to be upgradable. Once I've upgraded that to level 2, I could then upgrade the rest, and then once the rest of them upgraded, this middle one can then be upgraded to level 3. So to sort of always build your nesting areas in hexagons. So yes, so this is my underground thing inside the lab, and then we can head up through the little hole here to the surface. Well, I've got some ants on the surface. I was just collecting some food I'd got earlier. And as you can see, this is just on the edge of a little sand pit inside the lab. You can see the table of the lab around here, some notes from the scientists, etc. So this is like your home base. And from here you can take on various missions. So I've been trying this a little bit early on and I actually managed to fail the various missions. So we'll try a new home level 1.1. I'm just going to do this on easy because, as I said last time, I failed. And basically this takes you out into the wild. So we're setting up a new colony inside a rotting log. And the basic objective of this mission is to basically kill all the threats to your colony surrounding. And you can see the rough location of these threats.
The Fuska queen has set up home beneath a rotting log. She is fat and vulnerable. Her first brood will need to move quickly if the colony is to survive. Their priority now is to find food, and there is plenty around. But there are other hungry creatures down here. The workers will need to be vigilant.
See, so if you he keeps talking. So basically, question marks represent food opportunities, in this case lava, and the exclamation marks represent danger in terms of basically enemy units. So with the resources we have recently gathered, I think we can increase the amount of workers we have available. Although I don't have enough food to do it all. It costs 20 per tile. So we'll build them round in a hexagon, as is the sort of correct way of doing it. And we've also got access to more food over here and over there. We've got food here, but danger over here. So by that point, by the time I want to get onto the danger ones, really I want to be starting to trying to get some black ants, which are like the soldier ants, which are much more combat effective. So we'll do that. So how you can control the ants, basically with pheromone markers. So currently they get put in sets. So you've got 7, which represents the nest around the queen, and and the 7, which is the new nest I have built up here. So if I can drag this, any one of these into the different 5 pheromone marker options you've got. So if I change, so you always want to leave some on the nest one. By leaving them on here, they sort of do all the nest management. They every time a new egg hatches, they go and put a fresh one in it so that it can respawn and do everything that's required to maintain this nest. But by moving them to the 1, you then get control of them with your pheromone marker. So by selecting 1 and then right clicking, I can set a pheromone marker. Then all the ants in this group are then attracted to this point. And you can toggle things like attack, and so you say prevent attack if you don't want them to try and get involved in any combat, or prevent gathering food. So the prevent gather food one can be kind of useful for some of the soldier ants when you're trying to avoid getting involved in sort of combat. So we'll gather a bit of food around here, and then we'll look see if we can get enough to build up a couple of soldier ants. So I want to clear a bit of space so we can have this as a bit of a hexagon. Food stores are full. Well, we can soon spend that like that, building up the soldier ants. So we'll even have enough for a second one. So you're sort of getting a bit of an idea of how this works. So let's quickly start to push further south, gather a little bit more food, and then we'll try and go to war against some of the enemies. As you can see, the objective: kill all nearby creatures. We gather the stuff back to the base. There we go, it's got a bit more money. Food, even money. Food is effectively money in this game. It works kind of in a similar way. We should probably also think about having an area where we can store a bit more food. So let's clear out this area here, because we can also build food storage that allows us to store up to 10 food on this tile for later use. Because when some of your units get killed, I don't have enough food to build a food tile. When your units get killed, you'll find that it costs food to replace them. So if we hover over here, you can see it costs 50 to place the tile and 5 food each time to hatch, and 2 food for a worker. So when some of your soldiers start to get killed in combat, then you need 5 food each time to replace them. And if you end up taking a lot of casualties, and when you start to get to the really big groups of enemies, and they start to advance towards you, you need that food to keep replenishing the soldiers to keep attacking. So it can actually become pretty important pretty quickly if you're not careful. So you want to have a bit of a supply of food stored for future use. So it looks like the workers are starting to gather some of the food here, but they're not doing it quickly enough, so I can put a pheromone marker here, and now a lot of the ants will come all at once, and they should gather the rest of the food that's stored down here. See, I noticed I've also moved my soldier ants to the second unit, and I can now assign them down here, and hopefully the soldier ants should start to come down here, ready for war against these 2 enemies over here. I'll turn off their ability to gather, since I really want them to focus on the combat, not on the gathering. So we've got 2 more, enough food to build 2 more soldiers. So we'll get our first sort of 7 soldier group from that nest, and then we can look at upgrading them as well. So we'll wait for these to get hatch. Once they've hatched and come over here, we should have sort of 5 soldiers here, and we'll push into this group of potential enemies down here, represented by the red exclamation marks. The other things you can build are the speed tiles. So these basically allow it's just like a road upgrade tile, basically allows your ants to walk quicker. Move these ants, pheromone marker back over down here. So it looks like the soldier ants are about ready, so let's push into this danger zone and see what happens. So there we go, so you've got some enemies. So the soldiers are engaging and losing.
The devil's coach horse. They are born ready for combat.
So there's some sort of cockroach thing, which we have killed successfully. There we go. But we lost a few workers, but I don't think we actually lost any soldiers, which is good. So we'll make sure we'll assign the workers down here so we can gather up any of this spare food. We've got enough food to build another soldier. So let's look where we're going to go to next. This is probably the next logical point. We'll get a little bit closer without going in. We'll make sure the soldiers start to head over this way. It looks like the workers have gathered the bulk of the food. Make sure the soldiers get up as close as they can this end before they go into the combat. Oh, we've actually got enough food to finish off our nest.
The colony is starving. There's not enough food to feed the new brood.
So it's street size. It says the colony is starving. That's a good example. Look, so we currently have 5 soldiers, but we have the 2 more could be hatched. But I don't have that required 5 to hatch that next one. So that means it can't really be hatched. So that's why it's saying the colony is starving. So I think the next thing we can do is get involved in a bit of combat and crush these enemies down here. There we go. We've got 3 this time. There's quite a lot of food here once we kill them. All our soldiers are getting engaged. So we're losing quite a few of them. We're down to 4 now. We lost 1.
The outcome for the colony may not have been.
But there we go. So we'll assign our workers down here and we'll start to gather up all this food. Since we've got more stuff to hatch anyway. So that's it for this end of the map. Where we're going to go next, this would probably be the next most logical one. So we'll assign our soldiers over to here. So we can engage this. It looks like there's 1 enemy there. So now we're getting a little bit more. We can look at doing an upgrade. So we can upgrade the central one. The worker should do that upgrade. Now all these side ones can then be upgraded. So we'll have all our soldiers will then be at level 2. Once all these side ones are upgraded, we can then upgrade the middle one to level 3. And the level of the units is represented by these little bars. That little brown one is level 1, level 2. See, these are all level 1. But the green circle represents that they can be upgraded. So we've got a fair bit of food from all that lava, which is good. So we'll move our workers back over here. Put the soldiers right up onto the end. And then let's dig into this new set of enemies. Oh, not quite there. 1 more.
There are intruders in the nest.
So there we go. Only 1 enemy unit this time, so it's not too much of a problem, I don't think. For some reason, all our soldiers aren't engaging. We've got a couple of them here. There we go. It's dead. Brilliant. So let's move our soldiers to the next point, which is probably going to be over here, I suspect. Yeah, better to tackle the 3, and then we get access to food before we take on this group of 4. So the workers are bringing their food back to base, which is great. And now we've got enough to upgrade another one of our soldiers. We might get enough there. You've got to be a little bit careful to not completely overspend, because that's now taking me down pretty low. I've only got enough for 2 soldier respawns, in case things get a little bit dangerous. You'll also notice, since I've done this before, I haven't been reading them, that you get a series of tooltips as you're playing sort of these starter levels. They tell you a bit of things about like the woodworm and the larvae, what your different soldiers do, how the tile upgrades work, the devil's coach horse, which is these like cockroach things that we keep finding in these different areas. So it looks like we have gathered as much food as we can, so let's bring the workers back over and press into the next area. So it looks like there's 3 enemies here. I think for now, if I remember correctly, these ones are of the same type. Let's dig in and see. Yes, they are. Come on, we want as many soldiers as we can. Okay, that went quite well. I don't think we lost any soldiers there. Oh, and there's a dead woodlouse in here as well. Brilliant. So we'll assign the workers here and get all this food gathered back up. Yeah, we might as well assign food gathering to the soldiers as well and push into this area of food. Oh, I see, this is a wood lice. So they can't actually do any damage to you, but they are quite strong. And when they crouch down to the ground, it's like a defensive mechanism, which makes them even harder to kill. But since they can't hurt you, it's not really a problem. See, so once I upgrade this one, It will then give me enough, it'll have a complete upgrade ring, which will allow me to then upgrade this one in the centre to level 3. Once I get enough food. I still need 50 food to do it. So we're gathering up all this food here now, which is great. Okay, so let's get that one to level 3, and then we've got a full upgraded group of soldiers. We've also probably got enough to consider doing another upgrade. Don't know if I need to do that there. Yeah, we can get another group of soldiers out on this group here now. We'll start our second group of soldiers. We'll probably assign them to the same pheromone marker so they all work together. There's another group of woodlice. And we'll have the soldiers go and kill them and gather them. So we'll just continue to build this group up in the same hexagon pattern. I like the fact everything is sort of in darkness. You get a few lights dotted around, but you get like a little torch that follows your cursor. I think that's quite a neat little feature. So wherever you're looking, you actually do get to see. But then the rest of the time, it's all in the darkness. It's kind of a neat little feature about this game I quite like. How do we access these enemies here? There's like a solid wall there, so we have to come in from this direction, I think. But we've still got a lot of food to gather first. We also probably need to think about building more food storage. Which we're doing there. Increase our sort of storage capacity, because at the moment I think when you start getting a few people gathering at once, it goes up quicker than I can actually place these nests. So you see, so this nest is forming its new thing. It's now made of 5, and it will be eventually 7 once these rest of them get sorted, which it now is. So we've got one group of 7, at a higher level, and then one group of 7 brood tiles down here. But they're both assigned to the second pheromone marker, so they're both sort of inclined to come down in this direction. But at the moment they're helping transport all the food back to base. So we'll also look at upgrading these tiles as well. We'll do the central one. The upgrades actually make quite a big difference to the strength of your routes and make them all a lot better. See, so after we complete this mission, assuming it goes to plan and we do complete it, you'll find that you don't have these upgrades because this is a separate colony to your one in the lab, because this is like one of the colonies that we're founding in a rotting log, as said at the beginning. But these are the upgrades you can unlock, so you'll get royal jelly from completing these missions, and that royal jelly can then be used to spend on tech trees and stuff, which will allow you to sort of research ants such as these soldier ants, which you're getting in this mission. It looks like we have gathered the bulk of the food, as far as I can tell. So we're digging in this way, so I'm going to assign the sort of second ant army to come down here before we engage this group of 4 enemies. So, just going to dig out this last little bit. And we may need some workers here to do the digging, I think. I don't think the soldiers actually do any digging, it's just the workers. Yes.
There are intruders.
Oh, there are the enemies. So, let's get the soldiers. Some of the workers are coming in as well. I'd rather they didn't really, because they just die. We have lost a soldier, unfortunately. But we have killed the rest of them, so that wasn't too bad. So we'll just get everyone to harvest all this food here. And then we'll continue to press on. We've got quite a large group of enemies there. I think we'll probably want to avoid them. There is quite a good source of food over there though. All in all, everywhere seems to have fairly large groups of enemies. Perhaps this group here, followed by going this way to this food source over here, might be the best tactic. So we'll bring the second army over here. We've got a bit of food, so we can do a little bit more upgrading. All Why is that not quite working? Okay. Oh, because I'm selecting speed tile rather than upgrade tile. That'll be why. So we can assign another 3 upgrades to these ants to take them all up to level 2. Once they reach level 3, that central run, that gets a big increase to the ants' attack. I think level 3 is normally the point where they get the biggest attack upgrade. So it looks like the workers have harvested all the material over there. So let's come over here, and I think we're going to engage this group of enemies over here. We've got 14 soldiers in our army, and here we go.
There are intruders in the nest.
So attack, attack, attack. The soldiers charged in. We lost a few workers, 1 soldier down. But the rest of them have hung on okay. Okay, so that's that lot dealt with. That was pretty easy. So then the ants get reborn. You see, that's the 5 cost per time, and you get these soldiers and the workers get reborn. So hopefully with that food, which we're getting, we should be able to upgrade a little bit more. Fulfill 1 more upgrade there. Yeah, they're both being upgraded. The rest of the food should have about been gathered by down there, which I think it has. And next time when we get enough, we can do that middle one to level 3. So, onwards to the next group. It looks like there's going to be some larvae here as well.
There are intruders in the nest.
So, let's get involved. All the soldiers charge in. Quite a lot of enemies here. We're losing a soldier, we lost a soldier there. 2 soldiers down, 3 soldiers, 4 soldiers. Oh dear.
The colony is starving.
And now I've run out of food to do the recharging of these soldiers. But we have done enough. We have killed them. So we lost 4 soldiers there, and I didn't have enough food reserves to actually deal with them. So that sort of generated a few problems there. But we've now got a lot of food to take back, so all these soldiers should get reborn, which they now are doing. And then we've got a big food area here we can push into. I suspect these are going to be like wood lice. Then we've got all these threats to deal with here, and then we're done. And we can go back and see how our ant colony is doing. So this has turned into a little bit more of a sort of let's play really than a review as I had intended. But I mean, it's pretty hard to compare this game to anything else since it really isn't all that much like it. I guess in many ways it's a bit like sort of a city building game in some sense, or a base building game with sort of certain tasks that you need to accomplish, and sort of a progression tree. But I have to say I have been quite enjoying playing this so far. So I do highly recommend you check it out if you get the chance. It's not that much on Steam, and it does have very good reviews, so it is well worth checking out. So we'll build another set of colonies over here in the corner. We've got lots of food which can be harvested down there, which is great. Yeah, already the food's starting to fly in. So we'll hopefully get another 7 built for our army before we face off with this big group over here. All these wood lice providing lots of food. Takes them quite a while to get there now because they're a bit stretched out. They've got to walk all the way back down to the food storage areas, and that takes them quite a while to do. So with that, we can even start the upgrades straight away. We'll wait till they get a bit lower and then we'll stop because I want to have a bit of food in reserve to replenish some of the losses we might take when we have to deal with these people. God, there's so much for them to harvest in there. Still carrying it all back. Yeah, we're all working their way along the corridor to the nest and to the food areas down here. Got a little bit more food built up there. Okay, so it looks like it is about coming to an end. So we are going to move the army down to how we're going to get into this place. We'll go down from this direction. We'll move the workers down there as well. And we'll move the new army unit to the sort of second pheromone marker. So now they should all go down there as well and be controllable as one sort of big unit. Okay, so most of them have now arrived. So let's dig in and see what we find. I'm half expecting, I think, to find a bigger creature soon. I'm pretty sure. Oh no, just a lot of these things. So let's send in the army. All the army ants are charging in. Quite a few people dying because there's quite a lot of enemies here. Oh, that's it, they're dead. They are dead. Okay, so let's assign both units to there. I'll wait for them to go and fetch the rest of the stuff. While I'm waiting, I'll get these people to dig a little bit closer. All that food should be making its way back to the base storage area, which it is, look. Which is excellent.
The workers have done all they can to prepare this brood chamber.
The neighbour's tiles are not sufficiently developed. Why is that? I'm surprised. I'm not quite sure why that won't let me upgrade. I would have expected it to, but for some reason it won't. Anyway, so let's keep pressing on. I think we'll get the second army nice and closely into this tunnel, ready to attack as we push into the main chamber. So let's cut our way in.
There are intruders in the nest.
So again, there's just a very large amount of them, so the army should just go straight in. Making quite a few casualties. Hopefully we can actually win this. There's some food here, if we do. Food starting to get used up as the new soldiers are hatching. There we go. They're all dead. Excellent. So they'll all get carried off. We'll get the workers assigned here as well, and we'll dig into this new food colony over here. And we've just got 2 more clusters to go. There's some very dramatic music in this game. Bit of trumpeting going on. Food stores are full. Okay. Well, we'll build up another colony. Build one there, 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 and there. As the food stores fill up, we'll get another cluster of 7 ants, hopefully. Oh, I just noticed that. I didn't notice that before. You can see them on the minimap, so you can see the sort of line of them returning to base with the food and then coming back. The workers coming over here to set up the nursery. They're largely carrying all the... We'll assign everyone over here to collect all this food down here. Oh, this is sort of turned into one... I didn't actually mean to do that. One sort of super nest, I think. Slightly unintentional, but I don't suppose it's a problem. Okay. So once the rest of this food has been collected, we'll press onwards. All the soldiers are hatching, so we should have quite a lot at our disposal. So let's just push pretty much straight into this sort of threat of enemies down here. We'll add the army forwards.
There are intruders in the nest.
So quite a large cluster of them. But our soldiers are doing a pretty good job. We just have so many soldiers now. I think we're just killing them before they can really do that much damage. We lost 3, but that's not really a problem for us now. Okay, so they immediately get carried off. Is that lot done? So we'll leave the workers there, but we'll assign our soldiers to start building up down here by this new set of enemies over here. So bring back all the body parts for food. Don't quite have enough food at the moment to upgrade that tile. Food storage is full, but nothing I can upgrade there. So we've got 23 ants gathered here. So let's just bring the workers over and let's just push straight into this and get this mission finished.
Predators are loose in the nest.
Oh, there looks like there's a giant one. So let's get the soldiers to charge in.
The ants have stumbled into the path of a fully developed devil's coach horse beetle, and it's hungry for breakfast.
Fully developed. I think the others must have been children.
The size of a black ant and protected by thick plates of external armor. Whilst it bites at the tiny defenders, it sprays foul-smelling secretions from the end of its raised abdomen.
Foul-smelling secretions. That's a good sentence.
The devil's coach horse is dead. Its corpse will provide
Okay,
food to support
so it is dead. So we'll get everyone ready to press into the next one. I think our soldiers are now so upgraded and so numerous that we can basically face any challenge that is set before us. We've got a full set of food, so I think we should just push straight in and kill whatever else we find in here.
Predators are loose in the nest.
God. Oh, there's 2 giant ones. Okay, maybe we should have hung on a little bit longer. Oh, they're spraying stuff at us. It's causing confusion. Come on, soldiers, fight, fight. Getting quite a lot of casualties. At least we got more than enough food. A lot of the smaller ones are dead, but these 2 big ones are... damn, they've actually pretty much killed quite a large proportion. There's a new wave coming in down here of soldiers and workers. Soldiers have to continue the fight. Good job they respawn, otherwise we'd be in trouble. And good job they respawn quite quickly as well. They're tough, these things. Come on, keep attacking them. Oh, one dead, one dead. There we go. Victory.
This Formica Fusca colony has now established itself as a rising power in the Undergrowth. Soon their territory will need to expand above ground, where new challenges await. For the time being, however, the Queen is safe.
Hooray, the Queen is safe. Victory. Oh, okay, so we get to choose a reward for our Formiracarium in our building. So we can have royal jelly, which is sort of like food. So you get extra royal jelly, 68 royal jelly, food and territory. Or we can have extra food. This will allow us to place more tiles, build more workers, some jelly and some extra territory, or extra territory, and etc, etc. I think I want to go for the royal jelly. That will give me the most research options, so I think we're going to go for that one. So we'll end this level and head back to our Formicarium, whatever it's called. So you see your score for the level, and then you go back to your base, which is effectively this lab.
How is the colony progressing?
The Queen is exhibiting interesting new
And then if you go outside, you should see, yes. So when you complete that level, it's like the scientists basically sprinkle in food into the tank for you. So this is all the food which has been sprinkled in. This is all the food we've got to collect, which is available to us. And there's a little larvae which is trying to get away. Yes, and we now have royal jelly, which we can use on the research tab around here, look. So we can upgrade our worker to allow us to upgrade our worker tiles, or we could try and save up a bit more royal jelly to afford to buy a soldier ant. Or we could upgrade the Queen to do different things, and we don't have enough royal jelly for any of these yet. But you can Royal Guard, Second Wind, Pun drop into 20% to confuse any enemy with a huge radius. You know, all these little different things. You know, aggressive ants. On all these little things that you can do. I think some of them are exclusive though. Yes, so if you purchase this ability, you're not allowed to purchase the ability Aggressive Brood. So you have to sort of pick which of these 2 on each side that you want. It might be worth upgrading the ant, so we can upgrade into level 2. And then I'll also spend some royal jelly and upgrade into level 3. So our worker ants can now be fully upgraded. So that means that our nest over here, I can now upgrade these tiles properly, just like so. So I hope that's given you a little bit of a fair demonstration of the game. Not quite panned out into the review I intended, more of a sort of a playthrough. I will be doing like a Let's Play series on this game. I think there's quite a lot to experience. So we will be doing that. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, guys. If you have, please give it a like, thumbs up, subscribe for more Empires of the Undergrowth content. Thanks, guys. See you on the next one.